microphone checker, microphone checker, microphone checker, microphone checker, microphone checker, microphone checker.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is Masta Ace, Brooklyn, New York. Right about now, you tuned in to Mic Check Media. Real hip-hop, of course.
Yo, what up? This your man, K Boogie, Mic Check Media, Pioneers of Hip-Hop series, man, Diary of an MC. We rolling on and we rolling strong. We got the brother, the man, Brooklyn's own Masta Ace. What's good, baby?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, man, real good, real good. Hey, first off, man, on behalf of myself and Carol of Mic Check Media, we want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule, man, to jump on the Pioneers of Hip-Hop series, man, and just, chop it up with us. We appreciate you.
Oh, definitely, man. I appreciate you having me on the show. I'm looking forward to, talking about some good things.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's take it back, man, to the early beginnings, man, the late 80s when you jumped into the hip-hop scene, man, and, how that all began for you.
Well, for me, it really started in the late 70s, just in my neighborhood. I was in a little DJ crew, and we would just kind of like play records and cut up beats and stuff. And then eventually, we were basically just emulating what we were hearing coming down from the Bronx on those tapes back then. And eventually, those tapes started to have rhyming on them, and I was the one who decided that I wanted to try to put a few words to the beats that we were scratching and cutting up, and that's really how it all got started for me as far as being on the microphone side of things. I just started writing a few rhymes and putting down our little tapes in the neighborhood, and that eventually led to me going into high school and battling dudes in my school, and kind of making a little name for myself in my high school. And I had guys from other schools coming to our school to battle me out in front of the building and all of that kind of stuff. And it was definitely a lot of dues being paid in those early years of the late 70s, early 80s, just kind of figuring it all out. I grew up around hip hop, so there was all kind of stuff going on. I mean, dudes were writing graffiti, dudes were breakdancing, popping. I mean, every aspect of the hip-hop culture, we were basically just living it because it was the thing to do when you were a kid.
Wow, no doubt. And, you were right there in the very beginnings of hip-hop. So, I mean, that's no doubt history within itself. And I'm sure you saw, quite a bit and, definitely some influences. Now, who were some early influences early on for you when you, were peeping the scene and noticing, hip-hop and start the battling?
Well, it started in my neighborhood. There was a guy in my building that went by the name of Charlie Wap. Like, he never made a record or anything like that, but he was famous, and he was hood famous, you know what I mean? And
right.
His tapes floated all around my neighborhood, and he had his rhyme style, and, we would look forward to hearing those tapes. But as soon as records started to be made, I think one of the first kind of groups that caught my ear was Run DMC. Hearing those dudes on Together Forever, which sounded to me like just a regular park jam with guys just rhyming, and I remember how that had a big influence on me, hearing them rhyming on that. And as the years went on, Run DMC, then LL, then Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, like there was like kind of as time went on, there was a group of different MCs and artists and groups that came out that made me, sort of restructure whatever I was trying to do. I was just kind of just figuring out what I wanted to be and how I wanted to rhyme and what I wanted to rhyme about. And listening to all of these different artists kind of helped me figure that stuff out.
Wow, no doubt. Now, you were on, in my opinion, man, the biggest posse MC cut of all time, the Symphony, with Craig G, Coochie Rap, and Big Daddy Kane. How did the affiliation with the Juice Crew and Cold Chillin' come about with, Marley Marl?
Well, I had entered this rap contest at a skating rink in Queens, New York, called United Skates of America. And first prize for that contest was 6 hours of studio time with Marley Marl. I won the contest, and I got a chance to go into his his home studio at his mom's crib in Queensbridge Projects and record my first demo. I did the 6 hours, and then after those 6 hours were done, I guess he was, kind of impressed by what I was doing lyrically on those demos, and he asked me to be on his compilation album, Marley Marl in Control Volume 1. And that was really kind of the beginning of, me being associated with the Juice Crew. We, of course, recorded the Symphony, which is the last song on the album that we recorded, and, I kind of got on that song really by mistake. It wasn't intended anyway, but I wound up on a classic record, and we shot a video to that record, and once that video came out and my name was put across the screen, that established me as as an artist.
Wow. Now, I mean, I know you said how you happened to fall on that joint, but you had your own, man, on that cut, man, with Kane and T-Rap and them, man. I mean, it was great, and that's a classic joint. It's a staple in hip hop today, and for that I had to talk to you, man, for submitting a great legacy.
I appreciate it, man.
No doubt. So now, so after the Symphony, is that when they decided to go into the studio and actually do an album?
Yeah, after the Symphony, we did a 12-inch, a single first on Prism Records. That was like the offshoot label to Cold Chillin', where they would throw out 12 inches just to test out the market. And I was told that if that 12-inch sold X amount of copies, that it would be rolled into an album deal. And the single actually did really well, especially overseas in the UK, United Kingdom. They were playing both records pretty heavy, the A and the B side, but mostly the B side. And when the record blew up in the UK, they realized that that there was some sort of fan base, and they wanted to move forward with an album. I went right in the studio and kept recording with Marley.
Wow, no doubt. So now, from there, you went on to do Masta Ace Incorporated. Now, that was a collaboration with you and a few other MCs. Am I correct?
Yeah, it was my album, but what I was really trying to do was bring across more of a group feel. I had Ice Rock, I had Lord Digger, Paula Perry. I had these different rappers that were around me that were kind of, coming up around me, and I just felt like it would make the album more interesting if you had different voices, different characters, different individuals on the record that people could, focus in on, or they didn't have to just focus just on me. At that time, there weren't a lot of solo artists that were really big. It was really more groups, Cypress Hills and EPMD, and huge list. Everybody was a group though. It was just group after group, and I was just trying to figure out a way to kind of bring that group feel along, but kind of be the main guy, and so that's why Masta Ace Incorporated came along.
Okay, and I definitely, man, I know the Sitting on Chrome, man, that's definitely a solidified classic, man, with, the heavy banger that was on there, Born to Roll. Now, was that more of your style, so to speak, or was that just another extension of Masta Ace? Because, it was more like, a different style, I guess, from the Cold Chillin' days and then from Masta Ace Incorporated.
Yeah, basically what happened with that song is that, I had another song on my Slaughterhouse album that was about Jeeps, and that was really what I was into. That's how I was. I had a truck. I had a whole bunch of big sound system in it, 215s, 212s, just like loud and ridiculous for no reason. And that's how we was. That's how when we was in our 20s. That's what it was about. Driving around Brooklyn, blasting bass as loud as possible with the rearview mirror trembling. And so I wanted to make a song about that. So I made a song about that on Slaughterhouse. And then when we got kind of to the tail end of that album, I decided to do a remix. And the remix was really based on a couple of trips that I had taken out to the West Coast, my first couple of times out to Cali, and I was watching and checking out the cruising scene and the car scene out there, and they had a whole different way that they, the different rims and different style of cars and all this kind of stuff. And, you know, it kind of just made me even more excited about that scene. And while I was on this particular tour, I went to a record shop, I think it was in North Carolina, and I went to 99 Cent Bin, and I found this record, Knowledge Me, that was a Def Jam record, you know, produced on the East Coast, part of Russell Simmons' camp. You know, the group was called Original Concept. I remember that record very well when I was coming up in the 80s, and I said, you know, I remember this beat. I think this beat, if I rapped over this beat, I think people out west would rock with this. So I went in the studio and basically just threw together a remix using that beat with the same lyrics from the Jeep song on Slaughterhouse. And exact same lyrics, just different beat. And lo and behold, you know, radio just reacted crazy. Like they sent it out as a B-side to the Slaughterhouse 12 single, and every radio station, every DJ, every mix show was flipping that over and playing the B-side. And it just turned into this crazy, like, it was one of those hits that you just couldn't deny. Like, it was showing up. It was BDSing in San Francisco and San Diego and Los Angeles and Houston and all these places where, honestly, I wasn't selling records. All of a sudden, this song was blowing up and people were reaching out and trying to find that record. And that's what kind of set it off.
Wow. And that just kind of, you know, like I said, for you, it, you know, man, set off a whirlwind. And, I mean, it's just great. So once you picked up the wave with that, was it, you know, went straight to touring with that? And how did that go?
Well, when that record really took off, what happened was I started to do what I call radio shows. Okay. They were like kind of like these kind of club dates, these promo club dates that radio stations were sponsoring, and you basically would go in to this club where it was like a real commercial audience that only knew your record, like they only knew that record that was on the radio. They didn't have any like literally. I did an interview in San Diego, and the guy, it was like Z90 or something like that. The guy was like, "So how does it feel like to have your first record out?" And I was like, "This ain't my first record." I said, "This is my second album." And, you know, I was on a song called The Symphony. I had to explain all this to him, and he was kind of embarrassed because he didn't know nothing about the symphony or any of that. So it just kind of made me realize that, you know, this record was opening up new doors. It was exposing me to a whole new fan base of people that wasn't aware of who I was before this song. And I just had to get used to that whole commercial audience that didn't know about the history.
Definitely, and that's, you know, kind of leaning towards, I guess, you know, the music of today. I mean, it's pretty much commercialized, and, you know, everybody's, you know, it's been made mention before in one of our previous interviews that it's almost like a cookie cutter pattern. And, you know,
yeah, it is. You're right. I mean, it's really, the commercial game is kind of just, you know, you could have a hot little record like right now, and then a year from now, nobody remembers your name. And that's how it was then, but it's even more so that way now.
Wow, and that's the thing. So let's talk about 2013, Masta Ace, and, you know, the current things you're doing now as far as music or touring and what's going on.
Well, right now, I've been releasing records pretty regularly since 2001, and because of the release of those different records, it's basically allowed me to tour the world several times over in those 12 years. I've been to Europe, I don't even know, countless times, 12, 15 times in those years, and I've done tours in Europe and Australia, in Canada, and basically I've been sustained by the music that I've been releasing since 2001. The music that I've been putting out since then has basically extended my career an extra decade. I have a whole new fan. I still have my old fans, my original fans, the people in their 30s and 40s, but I also have these new fans that are 18 and 19, which is pretty cool. You know, I did a show in Canada. I had some kids come up to me like 16 years old. Like they were too young to even get in the club to check the show out. They was just kind of like waiting outside.
Wow.
Just like excited to meet me, and they're like 16 years old. I'm like, that's pretty cool. You know, I took a picture with them and stuff, but it was just, that's not easy to do. You know, for my first record to drop in '90, and to have 16-year-old kids in 2013 that are like excited to meet me and know my music. That's a pretty remarkable thing.
Yeah, no doubt. And you made mention to touring extensively over in Europe and Australia. Now, a few other artists that we've talked to have, you know, made mention to the fact that, you know, there's a lot of love, you know, for hip hop, be it golden era or current, you know, over in the UK. How was that touring for you? And do you see any similarities with what, you know, how they're saying about the love over in the UK versus, you know, what you might get over in the United States?
Well, I just feel like the United States is just a lot more driven by the commercial scene. Commercial radio, commercial video is what drives the train in the U.S. It's like, you know, a promoter, they don't even want to book you unless your record is on the radio. They want to see how many spins you got. They want to see where your sales numbers are at before they bring you in to do a show. It's not like that over there. Like they don't have the same type of, they have radio stations and stuff like that, but they're not driven by that. Like they go out and they seek out music because it's good, like not because it's on the radio or because the video is hot or big or whatever. It's not about being the popular artist necessarily for them. They just want the music to be good. If the music is good, if you're doing your thing, and if you put on a good stage show, they're going to come out and support you. And, you know, when I do these shows over in Europe, you know, we're talking 400 to 800 capacity spots sold out and people just rocking and knowing the words of every song. And that's what's kept me going.
Wow. I mean, that definitely says a lot, man. And, you know, we can't blame you for, you know, going over there and doing what you do, man. Because, I mean, if you're getting that much love, I would do a lot of extensive touring over there myself. Now, one other question, you know, that I do, you know, want to ask about. Now, there have been rumors circulating about a Juice Crew reunion, so to speak, and maybe a tour behind that. Is there any truth to those rumors?
There's truth to the rumor that we were talking about it.
Okay.
But we never got to a point where that was something that, like, the details of that never got worked out. So
wow.
It was supposed to happen last year, 2012. It didn't happen. So, I mean, the last I heard, we were kind of like at a stalemate with it. You know, there's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of different characters involved. A lot of egos involved, and everybody kind of has their own individual demands. And it just, you know, it's going to take a real special kind of tour promoter to pull it together because there's so many moving parts and so many different people to deal with. It's not an easy thing.
Wow. Okay, well, definitely, man, you know, we'd love to see that happen. If a promoter can get on that and make that happen, man, we definitely love to see that happen. But now, do you have any plans to come to Atlanta anytime soon?
There's nothing on the schedule, but, you know, I'm very actively talking to different promoters to try to pull shows together. What I try to do in the U.S., because I can't do 25 cities in a row in the U.S. like I do in Europe. So what I try to do is I'll pick like a weekend and I'll try to string together 3 or 4 shows, do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in a particular region. You know, I got one coming up out west in a couple of weeks, and I got one in the Midwest coming up in the week after that, and that's pretty much how I got to do it. You know, I'm working on one in New England. You know, you just try to find a main city and then find 3 or 4 cities that surround that, reach out and try to pull together between 2 and 4 shows pull them all together and make it work for everybody.
All right, and I mean that definitely makes sense. You know, I mean it wouldn't make sense to, you know, come down to Atlanta and then that's the only show you do, and then you turn right back around and go back. I mean that definitely makes sense to, you know, hit the regions and make it an all-out weekend tour. So we definitely got to get on some promoters, man, in this area to get your book, man, because that's one show I'd love to see, man, is get Masta Ace down and we hook up, man, in person and make it happen here in the ATL.
I would love to come out there. I was out there maybe 6 years ago or so with EMC. We did a show out there. But, yeah, I would love to come back and do it again.
No doubt. Now, one thing I do, you know, want you to do is let the fans know social media presence, where we can find your website, Facebook, you know, Twitter, and, of course, the links to where they can get the new music, man.
Absolutely. My Twitter is very simple, at Masta Ace, MastaAce. My Instagram is Masta Ace Pics, and my Facebook is Masta Ace Official. So you can get at me on any of those, and you know, I keep and my website MastaAce.com is where I put all the tour dates. So if you're trying to find out if I'm going to be in an area near you, I put all the tour dates up there, and you can check them out.
No doubt, man. Hey, once again, on behalf of Mike Tech Media, we definitely appreciate you taking time out to interview with us, man, and cement this legacy with the Pioneers of Hip Hop series. We appreciate you, brother.
Definitely. I appreciate you guys letting me come on the show and talk with you, and big up to all the people out there that love classic hip hop.
No doubt, baby. You heard it first. Mike Tech Media. We with the man, the homie Masta Ace, baby. Brooklyn's finest. We signing off. Peace.
Microphone check, microphone check up, microphone check, microphone check up, microphone check, microphone check up.